Wow, look at that gliding tech. Paired animation garbage. There's no physical way he should have been able to do the melee attack like that and just glide across the floor. But because it's a game and the hitboxes and the paired animation system is just badly designed, he just glides towards me like that.
Or losing. Making mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games.
Well, even after that many heavy grenades, he's still alive.
Sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best way to forget an old one.
You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are
You're
two
fucking
sides
kidding
of
me.
the same coin. I guess
How is he still going after 4 heavy grenades? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And there's some Phantom Range garbage right there. Krauser's so fucking bullshit in this entire fight. And he has an absurd amount of HP, and I didn't think it was this absurd. I thought it was more absurd in the final phase. But apparently here, he has a ridiculous amount of life. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't remember teaching you to move like that.
Why the fuck did he not flinch?
I don't remember teaching you to move like that.
He just would not fucking flinch.
Or losing your cool. Making mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games. Sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best way to forget an old one.
I mean, look at this. Why the fuck is he not flinching from the shotgun? The guy's a fucking human. He has almost the same fucking physiology as like a Ganado, only he's moving at super speed somehow. And he's just resisting the shotgun for no reason. He's not even flinching from the knife. He's only flinching from the pistol in the first phase because of the fact that when you hit him after he does that kick, he always flinches. I mean, what is with these inhuman capabilities? What is he, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Raw Ordeal? Just walking through bullets? Even though he's human? Like, what is this? This is so fucking stupid. It contributes to poor designs. I have to deal with Krauser's Phantom Range. I have to waste knife durability trying to deflect him. I don't even know why he has this much fucking life. No fucking flinch animations as well. The developers are not trusting the player to make this fight good at all. And I can't believe they looked back at the original fight of Krauser and thought that was bad, and then favored this model, which is so fucking broken, artificial, lazy, lackadaisical, contrived, tedious, inconceivable in its stupidity. How the fuck do people think this is a good representation of the original Krauser fight? Krauser's just cheating. He's getting all these cheap artificial handicaps to get an unfair advantage over you, relying upon the already broken designs as a shield to get this very cheap advantage over Leon. It's so fucking retarded. Nice fucking Phantom Range, Krauser.
I'll make the first move. I don't remember teaching you to move like that.
Did you fucking see that? The previous times I have done this fight, it has never taken that many fucking bullets and kicks to make Krauser go away. So it seems like this whole issue with the enemy health randomizing also applies to the bosses. And to this extreme of a degree, even though I've been restarting this game, and so my adaptive difficulty level should be at the same value. But no, it's a completely separate system, separate to the adaptive difficulty system. Why the fuck would you give bosses the same treatment of enemy randomization system? Why the fuck would you give the bosses the same treatment as the enemies, where their HP is randomized every playthrough? I've never seen anything this fucking absurd. All it does is just highlight how stupid this entire fight is when you are increasing Krauser's health to this absurd of a degree. Okay. Krauser's pathing is fucking awkward.
Soldier!
Didn't even fucking flinch.
You're losing your cool. Making mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games. Sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best.
This is so fucking dumb. 4 fucking heavy grenades. And he's still not fucking done. He's not even fucking flinching during his animations. How the fuck is this convincing me of anything? Why does he have so much fucking life? He's just a fucking human infected with the plague or whatever. He's supposed to have like very similar physiology to the Ganado, but he's like, he has like super speed and the like. But he should still be fucking flinching. What is this? His capabilities are so fucking absurd for no reason. He just looks so fucking weird the way he's just running. He's making all these jerks in his animation, and then he comes around, and he hits me with phantom range. He's hitting me with phantom range again. He's hitting me with phantom range again. How the fuck did anybody QA test this and think it was fucking good, or that it is not broken, or anything? Nice. Hitting me through the geometry, phantom range, brilliant, new Capcom.
You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me.
There we go. Even though I deflected it, he's still gonna do damage to me. Doesn't make any fucking sense. We're out of the blue. You deflect an attack, and it suddenly does damage to you. This has never been the case with every other attack in this game, but all of a sudden, they're just making it a thing now. Why? Bullshit. Once again, phantom range and hitting me through the fucking column. No, you're embarrassing as a fight.
Mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games. Sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best way to forget an old one.
Doing this? It's not too late.
Not even the submachine gun is and I'm stuck for some reason. Are you fucking serious? Even the fucking explosive has phantom range. Even though you can clearly crouch under it, for some reason it detonates, like it's detecting the tiny hair on Leon's head. It's never ending with the number of shitty hitboxes on this game.
Sure you don't need a breather? Kill him.
Look at him fucking teleporting like that. Load of garbage. Just any possibility for him to use phantom range to his advantage because of his gliding capabilities.
Sure you don't need a breather? I'm yours.
Every time with this fucking phantom range.
Mediocre at best.
Sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best.
God. I don't understand. Every time he does the sweep kick and you shoot him, it's supposed to stun him, but this time it didn't stun him. And then they get put into this combo, which ultimately results in the fucking grab animation, even though I can deflect it.
You're losing your cool. Making mistakes.
Every fucking time with this phantom range.
You're losing your cool. Making mistakes.
Wow. Hits me through the geometry. More phantom range garbage.
That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best.
Here we go. I'm gonna place my controller on the ground and see if I can mash through this stupid fucking grab. That's so bullshit.
Way to forget an old one.
I think I got it just then. Let's see. Oh wait, I don't have a healing item though, so I can't test it. But I think I got it. What a fucking stupid mechanic. Being forcibly put into a grab out of the blue, even when you deflect it, even though there's never been an attack like this. It's physically impossible to do this normally. Like, it's physically impossible to mash through this normally unless you place your controller down on the ground, you sit on the ground, and you start using both of your index fingers to hit this fucking button as fast as possible, and you have to set the accessibility options to tap when it comes to these quick-time events. Are you fucking kidding me right now? This is so fucking retarded. There is no reason for this kind of grab to do damage when they're not even damaging each other. Krauser's not doing anything to Leon. Leon's not doing anything to Krauser. They're holding each other back. How the fuck is Leon the one taking damage, not Krauser? And then forcing me to adhere to this very unorthodox, weird methodology of placing my controller down on the ground, sitting on the ground, mashing the button with both of my index fingers to get it done, to avoid this bullshit damage that is so unjustified and out of the blue because the deflection just doesn't work properly. That is so fucking retarded.
You're losing your cool. Making mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games. Sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best way to forget an old one. You can't beat me.
You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. I guess that means we'll never see eye to eye. You've made it all this way, but you haven't learned a thing. I have to say, I'm disappointed.
From you? I take that as a compliment.
Let's see you dodge this!
Oh shit!
You and I have chosen different paths. All that's left now is to settle this the old-fashioned way.
I was thinking the same thing, Krauser.
Looking shaky there, rookie.
Well, I at least did this phase using only the pistol. But yeah, that's the only way you're gonna deal with that fucking grab. I mean, the only reason I was even having to resort to the other methods and then putting myself at risk for dealing with Krauser is because of that fucking grab, and also with the fact that I need to preserve knife durability and the like. But just, like, I cannot understand why out of the blue they decide to put an animation that puts you into a grab animation, even though you just deflected it, and you're having to put your controller down on the ground, you're having to sit on the ground, mash the X button with both of your index fingers. Like, how the fuck is the average player expected to know that? And you're also putting in a challenge for not using any healing items as well. And it's funny how they just say use no healing items. They don't even specify no damage. And they're even giving you a statistic in this game that says times damaged. So why do they have to say, oh, beat the game using no healing items rather than beat the game without taking damage? That's what I don't understand. But even then, this is not the only issue with Krauser. The phantom range on his attacks is bullshit. Also, the times where he just hits you through the fucking geometry. The times when his pathfinding is weird. It's inexcusable. What?
You sure you don't need a breather?
Apparently I missed him somehow.
We are two sides of the same coin. I guess that means we'll never see eye to eye. Oh.
Oh, fucking bullshit! Bullshit grab! Phantom range! Awesome!
You sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Oh my god. You wanna know another thing that's really stupid? You know, I'm having to pull out my knife in order to deflect him, right? But every time I'm trying to capitalize on Krauser's recovery after a kick, or when he is just vulnerable, I have to waste time watching Leon pull out his pistol before he's able to aim and shoot. So that increased delay is also a big problem because of the fact that Leon doesn't immediately transition to his pistol when he has his knife out and you're trying to aim your pistol. He has to waste time going through an animation of pulling out his pistol before he starts shooting. And that's all Krauser needs to initiate his next attack before he has a chance to flinch or before you have a chance to parry. It's so dumb.
You're losing your cool. Making mistakes.
See, like, again, I knew he was going to do that sweep kick because that's what he tends to do whenever you're standing in this spot after he fires his machine gun. But I have to wait until Leon pulls the pistol out before I'm able to start firing. It's just very sloppy. Like, why am I having to sit through this kind of animation when Krauser's infinitely faster? It's so dumb. It's just very cumbersome. Yeah, so that wasn't damage. And that time I got the parry for some reason. You know, I saw a comment from one of my subscribers saying that, after you go into that grab and you break out, and then Krauser does that same combo again that ends in a grab, you just seem to get the perfect parry every time. Which only confirms my suspicions that the perfect parry against Krauser has really shit detection, and that it only seems to trigger under very specific circumstances, even when you're not even trying to time it, or even when you feel like your timing is correct. It's so stupid.
You can't beat me. This is
Oh god! And that time I got it. That's the same timing I used before, and it put me into the grab. And now this time, I just get the perfect parry. There's no logic here. Why would they design the perfect parry like this? Why would they design it in such a way that player input is not the key factor that triggers it? It's very specific circumstances. It's so stupid.
the best way to forget an old one.
Okay, I knew he'd attack after that.
You can't beat me.
Oh, and there's nothing I can do about that. That grab is just impossible to deal with. And there's not a lot of room to get away from him. Like, even if I were to stand in the middle of the arena, I mean, you just don't have the time to get away from that. Not to mention, even when you do see it coming, Leon's movement is so sluggish. Not to mention, Krauser has bullshit phantom range on that fucking grab. And he doesn't flinch the entire time. That should be an animation that warrants him flinching every time. Like, look at Evil Within 2 with Stefano. Whenever he did the running attack where he said, Philistine, if you shot him with the shotgun or the sniper rifle, he would always flinch. Because they understood how bullshit that move would be if he didn't flinch during that. But apparently the developers lacked any form of common sense when designing that move that has no visible counter to it. You can't crouch under it, you can't deflect it for some bizarre reason. You can't run away from it efficiently because of the sluggish movement. He doesn't fucking flinch. It's so fucking retarded. I really don't like how there are just moments where even when you parry that move, you don't get the boot knife guaranteed. Like, why does it have to occur when it wants to? Krauser doesn't do this move very often. Not to mention you have inventory space. Would it really be that much of a problem if you got boot knives every time you perfectly parried that? That would actually be a really good reward for perfectly parrying it, but no, it has to occur when you're actually low on knives. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
You sure you don't need a breather?
God damn it. Once again, Krauser's pathfinding issues caused him to mess with my deflection timing. Because even though he was close to me, I expected him to attack, but he just delayed it because of his pathfinding issues.
That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best way to forget an old one. Sloppy.
Once again, my timing was no different, and I get the perfect parry this time because apparently you trigger some kind of special property after you break out of that grab by just mashing and not incurring any damage that allows you to get the perfect parry without any sense of player input. No sense of timing involved. It just happens. It's so dumb. Like, why would they design this particular attack animation like this? I don't get it.
This is it.
Oh. How the fuck did that miss? Once again, like, do they have to waste time with the whole realism thing where Leon has to constantly pull out his pistol every time I'm trying to punish after a deflection? All it's doing is just fucking with the hit detection. It's not being one-to-one with where the reticle is. Because if Leon is not directly aiming his pistol in the direction of the reticle on his model, I end up missing shots like that.
You've made it all this way.
Once again, same timing as before, but because I had broken out of that grab previously, I just get the perfect parry magically out of nowhere, even though my timing was no different. Really fucking stupid that it's designed like this rather than relying upon actual player input or just removing this fucking grab animation entirely. Why the fuck would you introduce a grab animation out of the blue even when you do a parry when we haven't seen any attack like this throughout the rest of this game?
Old-fashioned way.
I was thinking the same thing, Krauser.
Bull fucking shit again. Couldn't even do anything to punish that. I could not shoot him because I had to wait until Leon got his pistol out. But even then, he would not have flinched. There's no deflection. There's no crouching. You can't run away from that efficiently, even if my back wasn't to a wall, because of Leon's sluggish movement. I don't even know which grab animation is worse, this grab, or the Ganados' grabs, or the Colmillo's grabs, or the Navistador's grabs, or every enemy's grabs on this game. Phantom fucking range!
Opening a new wound is the best way to forget an old one.
Oh my god, what was he doing? He only animation canceled, then he started spamming dodge, and then he decided to attack. Krauser behaves so fucking weirdly in this fight. Saw that coming. God, once again, why does he jump backwards when my back is to a fucking wall? And it fucks with his AI. I have no idea if he's going to just, like, turn, or just have pathing issues, have AI problems, and then he just does that attack. Did that even touch me? And he's just doing it at a weird angle. It's so fucking dumb that he's able to do that, just jump behind you, and it fucks with his AI.
You and I have chosen different paths. All that's left now is to settle this the old-fashioned.
I was thinking the same thing, Krauser.
Look at that. Once again, trying to punish him after a deflection. I have to wait for Leon to pull out his pistol, and it fucks with the detection. It fucks with his aim, because he's not aiming directly where the reticle is pointing. And then I had to deal with that grab, and I was very fortunate that I had dodged a attack that requires a quick time event. Because if I hadn't, and he did this grab, he would not be flinched. Are you fucking serious? He's doing the grab again! Spammy grab bullshit! Let's see how balanced this fight is when he does nothing but that grab that cannot be interrupted by normal means. It can't be deflected, it can't be crouched, it has phantom range. Let's have him spam this. Let's see how well designed the fight is. Why is he spamming the grab? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, I'm honestly better off just using the shotgun. That's the only chance I have.
This is it, soldier!
He was firing for an extended duration.
You're losing your cool. Making mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games. Sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best way to forget an old one. You can't beat me. Sloppy. Looking shaky there, rookie.
You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. Guess that means we'll never see eye to eye. You've made it all this way. You haven't learned a thing. I have to say,
Why does he have that much fucking life and he's able to take that many shotgun shells? He's able to be that bloodied. He's not able to flinch. He's just a fucking human with the plaga. It just makes no logical sense. They're using the stupidest excuses ever. Oh, he's a boss, so he can be resilient to all these different animations, even though it makes no fucking sense. Fucking Sadler from Resident Evil 4 flinched consistently from grenades. Krauser flinched consistently from the knife. It made fucking sense with their physiologies. What the fuck is this nonsense? Why are they having to cheat like this? They couldn't be more intelligent while still making Krauser flinch consistently. No, they had to be so unimaginative and downright basic with everything. It's so retarded.
you can't beat me.
You're really doing this? It's not too late.
Whoa. Oh, what the hell? I crouched under that.
You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. I guess that means we'll never see eye to eye.
Look at that crap. I mean, why does he not get stunned after that? The entire time I'm shooting him, he's just starting an animation, which happens to be the grab, which is one of his most bullshit moves by far. It just looks so fucking stupid, and it just allows him to cheat. It allows him to gain all these cheap advantages over you. These kind of lacking flinch animations complement existing poor designs. And believe me, Krauser has way too many poor designs to count.
Thinking the same thing, Krauser.
Phantom fucking range again.
falling for your mind games. You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. I guess that means we'll never see eye to eye. You've made it all this way, but you haven't learned a thing. I have to say, I'm disappointed.
From you? I take that as a compliment.
Why now did he decide to go? I didn't fire as many shots, I didn't do as many kicks, and this time he chooses to go away. So once again, the randomized health of the enemies applies to Krauser and the other bosses. And all it does is just leave me flabbergasted that they could think this randomization model is somehow good for the fucking game. And so nonsensical in its implementation.
You can't beat me.
See? What did I tell you guys? I knew the grab was coming. I had plenty of space to run, but even when I could run away, Leon is too fucking slow. He takes so long to adjust his direction, his sprint speed is so slow, and yet Krauser is so much faster, and he has phantom range on that grab. That is clinically retarded on so many levels. Bullshit. And this is what I don't understand, right? Like, that previous grab that you always get put into when you deflect, that doesn't do instant damage, yet this guy, when he does that grab animation, and he grabs you from the front or he grabs you from behind, it does instant damage to you. So why is it so different with that one grab that's triggered by the deflection compared to this regular grab animation? That doesn't make any fucking sense! And when it's gonna have that much phantom range, when it's gonna allow him to just shrug off your bullets like they're nothing, when you can't even crouch under it, when you can't even deflect it, this should warrant being put into a grab animation that doesn't do instant damage. Just like the previous one where you get put into that grab animation when you deflect. Why is it so fucking different here?
Falling for your mind games.
Pitiful.
Sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best way to forget an old one.
Once a fucking again! Bullshit phantom range, unable to crouch, unable to deflect that fucking grab, and even when you try to run away from it, Krauser is so much faster than Leon, because Leon's movement is so sluggish, he has to waste time going through the adjustment animation of changing his direction. And you get fucking grabbed. Take mandatory damage off of that. So fucking retarded. And yet the grab that you get put into when you deflect Krauser doesn't do instant damage, yet this one does. Where is the fucking logic in there? How fucking retarded are these developers? How fragmented do they have to be this divisive on how a grab is designed? And they can't even design the grab in relation to the core designs of the game. And he doesn't even fucking flinch as well.
This is it, soldier! You're losing your cool. Making mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games. Sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best way to forget an old one. You can't beat me. Sloppy. You're looking shaky there, rookie.
You're really doing this?
Look at him again. How can anyone think this fight is good when he has this much life? He doesn't flinch from anything. He has so many bullshit hitboxes. He has very divisive grab methodologies that make no fucking sense in their implementation. And he's not even flinching from the shotgun. This is an absolute insult to the original version of Resident Evil 4. This is the worst boss in the entire Resident Evil series. This is the most disgraceful boss ever made in the entire Resident Evil series. They have just taken the original Krauser boss fight and smashed it underfoot.
You need to stop living in the past. Strength is everything. The weak can protect nothing.
The way you're going, there won't be anything left to protect. You'd have known that once.
Oh shit!
That's where you're wrong. I didn't know a damn thing. Now I do. You can't deny this power.
Even after that many heavy grenades and normal grenades, he's still up and he's not flinching, and his parry timing has changed for some reason. Why now do they decide to change the parry timing compared to what it was like just fighting Krauser normally? I don't understand the logic here.
Completely, Krauser.
My timing was no different and I still got that perfect parry somehow. Yeah, the perfect parry is just busted with Krauser, and it just feels like in order to ensure more consistency and ensure that the detection isn't messing up, you have to move around in very specific ways. Yeah, maybe it's because I'm too close to him and the detection is just messed up.
I'm not surprised you made it this far. Not bad, but I didn't expect anything less. After all, I know your potential better than anyone. It's a damn shame you can't see the truth. How long do you plan to...
Oh, bullshit! Fuck off! Fucking grab! I crouched under it and he still got me!
Rookie?
Yeah. Let's settle this.
I'm not surprised you made it.
Yeah,
this
he was
far.
too close to me, so the prompt didn't fucking register. You even saw the prompt on the screen right there. I pressed L1, nothing happened. Nothing different with my timing. You'll notice, like, the first attack he did, I backed up and the parry worked. This time it didn't, because I got backed into a corner. Krauser was too close to me, and so the perfect parry didn't register properly. That is so fucking broken.
Did this far. Not bad.
Bull fucking shit! Krauser the first one, no different. I managed to avoid it. This time I did the same thing, and he grabbed me after his hand went over me. That hitbox is so fucking broken.
After all, I know your potential better than anyone. It's a damn shame you can't see the truth. How long do you plan to fight in that primitive body of yours?
Until the mission's finished. You'd have said the same once.
You need to stop living in the past!
The Krauser I knew is dead and gone.
Dead? No. I've been reborn into something greater than he ever was. Come on! Give up. My strength is without equal. Still too slow.
Oh, I thought he was jumping.
Power for your
So that time I was getting consistent deflections. Not only was I moving to the left, but I was also crouching before the attack came, and then I deflected. What is going on right now? What is going on? Somebody explain to me what the hell is going on with Krauser's attacks to lead to these inconsistent deflection moments where your timing is no different, but you just get the perfect parry or you don't get the perfect parry. It makes no fucking sense.
You've lost it completely, Krauser.
Oh, what? He repeats the attack? I thought he runs away after the first attack. This time it's different. I've never seen him do this.
Yeah.
Wow, nice lingering hitbox right there.
You can't beat me.
Bull fucking shit again. No fucking way to stop that kind of grab. My shotgun connected and nothing happened. And I can't even run away from it because Leon's sluggish movement is terrible in this game.
You can't beat me.
What the fuck again? Phantom range! And I can't run away from it properly because of Leon's stupid movement.
This is it, soldier. You're losing your cool, making mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games. Sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new wound is the best way to forget an old one. Sloppy.
I had a feeling that grab was coming.
You can't beat me.
You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. I guess that means we'll never see eye to eye. You've made it all this way, but you haven't learned a thing. I have to say, I'm disappointed.
From you? I take that as a compliment.
You and I have chosen different paths. All that's left now is to settle this the old-fashioned.
I was thinking the same thing, Krauser.
How is he still coming after me? What the hell is going on with this fucking game?
Krauser.
Why is it that Krauser can have so much health and then other times his health is moderate? Where you only need like, I would say about 8 shotgun shells. This time I'm having to deplete my magazine to its limit and he still won't initiate the next phase. His health is jacked to shit. And it makes no fucking sense with this enemy randomization system on their HP.
This is it, soldier! You're losing your cool. Making mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games. You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. I guess that means we'll never see eye to eye. You've made it all this way, but you haven't learned a thing. I have to say, I'm disappointed.
From you?
It's like that time. I didn't have to deplete my shotgun all the way. But the other time I almost did. Like, why is his health randomly changing like this? And the changes are to such an extreme that it makes no fucking sense.
This is it, soldier!
falling for your mind games. You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. I guess that means we'll never...
Again! Look at the amount of ammo that I used on Krauser. I have 11 bullets left. But in other recordings, I've had like 5 bullets left. I've had almost like 0 bullets left. I don't understand why his health randomizes to this extreme. It's like no other boss in this game, or any other boss in the entire Resident Evil series. Why the hell is this enemy health randomization system from Resident Evil 1 Remake so fucking jacked? I don't understand. It's not relating to the adaptive difficulty. I've been restarting this entire time. My adaptive difficulty level should be going back to the same value. And even if it's changing, is it somehow like changing Krauser's HP in the middle of his boss fight? What the fuck is that? It's clearly not the case. It has to be an enemy randomization system on their HP, just like Resident Evil 1 Remake. Only it is just pushed to an extreme. That doesn't make any practical sense.
This is it, soldier! You're losing your cool, making mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games.
You can't beat me.
You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. I guess that means we'll never see eye to eye. You've made it all this way. You haven't learned a thing. I have to say.
Wait, what? That took significantly less bullets. Okay. So, it seems like when you detonate the explosive and then Krauser decides to use the flash grenade, the order of his attacks is the same, but also you deal increased damage to him if he decides to use the flash grenade first after you shoot that explosive. What the hell am I seeing here? What the fuck kind of relationship is this? The order of his attacks correlates to the amount of damage he takes. What the fuck is this?
You're losing your cool, making mistakes.
I'm not falling for your mind games. You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. I guess that means we'll never see eye to eye. You've made it.
What? I don't understand. How the fuck is this working? I mean, I know I just acknowledged that when you shoot the explosive, when Krauser is right there and you're standing in that position, and then he throws his flash grenades to initiate his order of attacks, he takes a lot more damage for some reason, but this felt even more extreme. Like, I finished this very quickly. Jesus fucking Christ. I do not understand why they think this enemy HP randomization system is good. If it's gonna be this fucking wonky and high and low and oscillates frequently, and it's like it's drunk. It's a terrible damage calculation system.
You've made it all this.
Nice phantom range, Krauser. He's just standing there. Are you fucking kidding me? You're forced to parry that, unless you can somehow bait Krauser a second time. That is so fucking dumb. Look at the fucking hit detection just then. There are so many moments like that when you're using your pistol against Krauser after you do an animation like a deflection, or in this case breaking out of a grab. And it's all because of the fact that the game uses a projectile-based system rather than a hit scan-based system for their weapons. So something's happening to the bullet to just miss Krauser even though my reticle is perfectly on him. It's rampant throughout this entire fight if you're using your pistol. This is why I mainly use the shotgun during this stupid fight, to avoid this issue where the projectile just doesn't appear for some reason when you're using the pistol. That move is just so weird with its hit detection. Nice fucking phantom range! It's like, not only do I have to run away from that grab that has bullshit phantom range, but because my back is still at Krauser, and Leon's movement is very sluggish and very loose, I can easily get fucked by Krauser's phantom range because the detection on the parry is not there when Leon's back is to an enemy. It's so retarded.
Falling for your mind games.
Mediocre at best.
You sure you don't need a breather? That arm of yours must be killing you.
Opening a new one is the best way to forget an old one. You can't beat me. Let's see you dodge this. This is it.
You're really doing this? It's not too late.
You and me are two sides of the same coin. Guess that means we'll never see eye to eye. You've made it all this way. You haven't learned a thing. I have to say,
From you, I take that as a compliment.
you and I have chosen.
He's still
different
attacking?
paths. All that's left now is to settle this the old.
How could he still be attacking?
I was thinking the same thing, Kraut.
Yet again, another example of how jacked and fucking drunk the enemy health randomization system is.
Give up. My
Why does it cancel your animation when you're on the ladder every time he goes into that cutscene?
every
Not to mention, it can be so disorienting if you're not on the ladder at the time. Because he can affect the direction of the camera in the process, so you get so confused as to where you are. You might get screwed by bad detection on the ladder as you're trying to scramble your way to the ladder, and he might get a cheap hit on you, which is what happened in my blind playthrough, of course.
I'll show you the meaning of strength.
This is the most disgraceful boss fight I have ever done in the entire Resident Evil series. Are they seriously expecting you to treat Krauser like he's just a generic boss? And just like every other boss, you're meant to damage race him? You're meant to magnum dump him or something? You're meant to just shit all over him like that? No fucking sense of honor at all? Like there was in the original version of Resident Evil 4 when they made the knife actually good against him? Like a one-time design to test people's knowledge with the knife. Because I'm sure a lot of people were probably not even using the knife in the original version of Resident Evil 4. This is so fucking awkward. And he attacks so fucking fast! He's able to cancel the recovery frame so easily to transition into attacks. This is why you keep your distance, not to mention the perfect parry timing is so inconsistent. Because it's too strict, has to be so fucking inconsistent and non-responsive, and you get a pitiful reward. You just get a stupid melee attack that does barely any damage. I mean, this is seriously so fucking brain dead in its implementation. This is what they view as being a true reimagining of the original Krauser fight? Zero skill involved, bullet spongy Krauser, zero flinch animations, a parry that is completely fucking useless, with completely inconsistent timing, and zero reward. There is no reason for Krauser to be treated like every other boss in this game, where it's just a stale, dry strategy. Like you'd be doing it every single boss on this fucking game. Every time you're having to resort to the stupidest methods possible to get the boss fights done. Because they're just mindlessly designed with the merchant in mind. They want you to magnum dump everything. They want you to just mindlessly slot into upgrades. If the upgrades are that forceful, why do you make the merchant an optional feature then? It makes no fucking sense!
Are you ready, rookie?
Why would you not get on the ladder? It's like not only was Leon having trouble turning around, but then I get fucked by the ladder detection. Nice.
Primitive body of yours.
Wait, what? I got the partial parry? That is weird. So, I'm so confused though, because they changed the parry timing for this final phase to only be perfect parries, but I got a partial parry off of that apparently. That doesn't make sense.
Imagine the strength you have.
And turn into a freak like you.
Is that just part of a combo? Is that why I just feel like he spams that attack at times? And just cancels his recovery so quickly? Is that because it's part of a combo? As if you didn't have enough problems. And speaking of which, there is a 3-hit combo that he does that always ends in the grab, and because you're caught in the recovery frames of deflecting, you won't be able to avoid that grab. It's really bullshit. Fucking detection on the mantling and dropping down. What a horrible fight. I cannot believe I'm having to resort to this because this boss is fucking broken.
You're ahead in the game.
This is the most disgraceful boss fight I have ever played on any game ever. This is their idea of a proper reimagining for Krauser. Making the perfect parry so inconsistent in their detection, giving them a pitiful reward. Making the melee so useless against him, making the knife so useless against him. You just cannot trust any of the game's mechanics. So I'm having to resort to this to limit Krauser. And it's taking forever to do. And he refuses to get stunned. Like, why does he have this much life? Why is he so resilient to all these flinch animations? It's a fucking humanoid, for crying out loud. With similar physiology to the Ganados, only he's mutated. What's any different? He's just rambling on because he's a fucking caricature of the cliched soldier. That's what he is. He's a fucking caricature. It's like they're trying to mock the typical soldier. The typical cliched veteran.
Stop! You have your orders!
And can I just turn off his voice? Like, can I still hear him grunting without this stupid audio playing? Yeah, I can. Okay. Yeah, you need all your volume off if you're going to hear what Krauser is doing. Because this is how bad this fight is. They gave him the most ill-fitting music that doesn't represent what this fight even is. Like, they give such great music and they put it into this kind of encounter. That's not even a fight, it's the most stale, repetitive, drawn-out experience that's so fucking tedious. And oh my god, really? All of that and I just end up dying. Because it's just inconsistent when he chooses to jump. And I'd rather not do the quick time event because the roll animation that Leon does puts him in the wrong spot all the time. And I can't get to the ladder properly. I'm having to run the gambit with poor ladder detection. And if Krauser sets up in the right spot, I'm gonna have to deal with his shitty moves. His moves that have the most ambiguous detection. His moves that have some very ambiguous detection on the perfect parry. And get a pitiful reward, and also with the fucking grabs. Even if I crouch under the grab, he might potentially grab me, because the hitbox is that fucking broken. What a fucking disgraceful fight to the original Resident Evil 4, which had Krauser being my favorite boss ever in Resident Evil 4. Now he's the worst boss ever in this entire remake. What a polar opposite, Extrema. And they make you do the second phase over and over again. Because they were too stupid to put a checkpoint before the third phase. How is anyone supposed to practice Phase 3 Krauser if there's no typewriter before him? Why are you forcing the player to go through Phase 2 and 3 on this single typewriter save? Why would they place a typewriter before Phase 1 and 2, but not between Phase 2 and 3? It doesn't make sense. They're 3 different fights. Why do I have to go through Phase 2 to get to Phase 3 when I want to practice Phase 3, for instance, when the parry timings are different? They don't even want the player to practice the parry timing properly if they're not going to be putting a typewriter before Phase 3. Not that it even matters because the perfect parry is so fucking useless against Krauser. And the only reason I'm even getting the perfect parry in Phase 1 and 2 is because it just happens when it wants to. Because that's part of the design, as I've seen so many times in my observations and repeated attempts at this stupid, abysmal fight that's the worst boss ever made in the entire Resident Evil series. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, they change the parry timings with Phase 3 Krauser for no reason, even though the fight is clearly designed with the original parry timings. All you're doing is just disincentivizing the player from even partaking in the parry, when the parry timing doesn't make any fucking sense with Krauser in Phase 3. And also that one thrust he does, where he just raises his blade and then he just Supermans towards you and then just tries to stab you. There are 2 different points where the parry can register, apparently, just based on what I've seen with the HUD. There's one timing that registers as he's raising it. There's another one when he's about to hit you. So there's clear ambiguity on the parry timing. Not to mention, even when you do parry, you don't even, like, knock him back or make him flinch. You just avoid the hit. And that even looks like a hit you should be able to crouch under. You can crouch under that kind of hit in the original version of Resident Evil 4 using a quick time event. Like, just have Leon do the same dodge that he normally does when he's avoiding that unarmed brute's running attack, when he's just crouching under Vittorius Mendez's tendril attack, when he's crouching under the bats that the militia ganado use. That very low crouch that he does, he could easily use that to avoid Krauser's thrust attack, rather than relying upon the useless parry system that doesn't even put him into a flinch animation you can punish with a melee attack, and has very ambiguous detection on the perfect parry. He then have his other moves. The perfect parry doesn't make any fucking sense with their timing as well. And it's so strict as to be non-responsive. And all it does is just put him into an animation you can punish with a melee attack that does pitiful damage against him. If they wanted this fight to be all about parrying, they could have made the melee a lot stronger, but no, they didn't. It's still the same pitiful damage as it is in, like, the rest of this game. Your guns barely do anything. Grenades don't do anything. I have 4 heavy grenades. And Krauser is taking this much of a fucking beating? Are you fucking kidding me? The guy's no different in his physiology compared to the regular Ganado. Only he's moving at super speed. He has his consciousness. I mean, so does the regular Ganado, but he's not, like, under the sway of Sadler. All he has is just a mutated arm. He doesn't fucking flinch at all. Like, there's no sense to his physiology whatsoever. There is no sense to the way he responds to the game's mechanics, to the shooting, to the melee. They've taken such a lazy route in designing a supposedly challenging fight, like the fucking Silent Hill developers would do. Krauser on this game reminds me of, what was his name, Eddie? From Silent Hill 2? Eddie was just a normal human being, so obviously you'd expect him to die from a single shot from a bullet. But he actually requires a lot of high-powered weaponry in order to take him down, which makes no fucking sense. Makes you realize you're in a fucking game. The developers are having to rely upon the fact that you are in a game to create all these artificial handicaps for these kind of bosses, to give them ludicrous amounts of HP, to have them respond to shots in ways that don't make any fucking sense, to have them respond to melee in ways that don't make any fucking sense. They're giving such a false impression of challenge. And they're having to also rely upon really shitty hitboxes as well with Krauser, especially with his grab, because the number of times I crouch under the grab and he still grabs me, or when you deal with that thrust attack of his, it looks like you should be able to crouch under it, but you actually can't. He just hits you with phantom range. And because of the fact that there's invisible detection underneath his blade, and it's so fucking dumb. You're just running around in a circle, trying to hit his legs, which I doubt is even doing a lot of damage anyway. You're also using your grenades to try to knock him over so that you can hit him in the face, and even that does pitiful damage. There's no creativity here. He is no different to any other, like, lazy boss you see in a game. There is nothing character-wise that separates Krauser in the gameplay format. There is no character to his fight whatsoever. He's just the same lackadaisical, lazy, incompetent, bullcrap boss you've been dealing with the entire time in this fucking game. Just like with every other boss, just like with every other enemy type. They took so many cheap shortcuts in this boss fight with Krauser. Is it even a fight? I don't even feel like I'm fighting Krauser. How the fuck can you feel like you're fighting Krauser? When you're not trusting your mechanics, when you're just running away from him and just jumping down and hoping he doesn't do his jump attack on you, so that you can actually get iframes when you go onto the ladder animation during the startup frames. This is how you reward me for saving up on my ammunition. I've had to resort to the stupidest methods possible. I've had to resort to running past so many enemies. I've had to resort to so many holes and exploits to build up the amount of ammunition that I have built up. I've barely been using the crafting as it is, because the way they implemented the crafting system on this game doesn't make any fucking sense. It's like at times they want you to use crafting, other times they don't want you to. And the only way you're not going to be forced into crafting, so that you actually have enough resources for these encounters, is to rely upon holes and exploits, to rely upon running around like a headless chicken, trying to do these stupid encounters. And even then, This amount of ammunition that I have is not enough to kill Krauser. That's how you reward a supposedly survival horror experience? This is what Under the Mayo praises? This is what Ballback Soup praises? How is Carcinogen SDA the only one that is seeing this pre-alpha of a game for what it is? Under the Mayo is a fucking retard. In that video he released, covering Resident Evil 4 Remake, calling it a masterpiece, calling it a return to survival horror. How can he be so fucking brain dead as to not see the poor designs at play? How can he be so brain dead as to think the stale experience of a gameplay experience is somehow serviceable as a AAA title? He doesn't even know what survival horror is, and a lot of the designs that he's praising in this game, he's criticized in other games. He has no consistency with his critique whatsoever. I seriously cannot believe that someone who can actually make a really great critique of Aliens, a really in-depth, awesome critique of Aliens, could be that fucking retarded when it comes to Resident Evil. And every single one of his critiques on Resident Evil is shit. But this one is the most ludicrous of the bunch. Because even though this is a completely rushed game brought out by money-hungry executives, and there are so many problems with this fucking game in terms of balancing, in terms of holes, in terms of AI problems, in terms of mechanical problems, in terms of the developers not comprehending their core designs, he's still going out of his way to praise the fucking developers and to praise this game and calling it better than the original version of Resident Evil 4. There is no common sense displayed with this entire fucking game. There's no common sense displayed with Krauser and the way the developers implemented him. How the fucking Under the Mayo praised this? Zero fucking intelligence displayed on the developer's part. Zero characterization of the bosses. Zero good quality with the bosses. This game has the worst boss design philosophy I have ever seen in a game by far. And it's not just with the bosses, it's with this entire fucking game. With the enemy encounters, with the fucking mechanics. The number of times I have to use holes and exploits. And all these toxic fans that are just like, okay, grandma, sit down and sleep. Or saying I have a shitty taste in games. Yet they're seeing the game fall apart through their own eyes, and they're still calling me the one that is the problem. I think they know this game is bad, but all they're doing is trying to tick me off just to get a reaction out of me, because they care more about that than actually liking Resident Evil 4 Remake. That's the most disgraceful kind of fan ever. That is the most toxic fan ever. And all the people that want to say I'm the one who's being toxic, can you be toxic to a toxic fan? There's no such thing as being toxic to toxic fans. It's a double negative. Double negatives cancel each other out. And when I'm laying down this kind of critique, that's apparently being toxic? All they're doing is just being fucking hypocritical. When you see a shoddy product, when you see a broken product, and you're critiquing it, and you're laying out all the negatives about it, is that really nitpicking? Is that really being toxic? How is what I am saying any different to critiquing a shoddy product, like what everyone did with Cyberpunk 2077, for instance, with the amount of bugs that it had? Or with the PC port of Batman Arkham Knight, or with Skyrim on PS3, or on these other broken platforms. How the fuck is what I am saying toxic? It's general critique. Albeit with a lot more passion, albeit with actually showing more of the truth. Fucking hypocrites. Think before you actually say the kind of retarded statements you lay out in your comments. Calling me a dumbass, calling me a toxic player, calling me a fake Resident Evil player, calling me incompetent, saying I can't shoot a gun to save my life. Yet, what relevance does that fucking have to what I am discussing? I'm at a loss of words with this pre-alpha of a fucking game. I wish I could sue the developers. I really could. But unfortunately, all the problems I am laying out are not properly defined under what it means to be a broken product based on the law. This is the worst kind of product you could ever have. This is worse than what you'd be getting with a broken product that has like frame rate issues, overheating issues, graphical issues, and the like. memory leaks. This is the kind of game that is worse than anything like that. Because this is the kind of game that deludes people into thinking that it's serviceable based purely on those designs. When a game is so much more than that. When a product is so much more than that. And all these fucking people that are gonna be like, laugh my ass off, why are you so angry? Oh, skill issue. And all these fucking Russian bots or whatever, saying the exact same thing in the same grammatical format. Having to be bullied by all these people, all these bots. Just griefing me the entire time because they don't care about a good quality product. They care more about making me angry. Not that I even get angry, I just delete their comments when I see something like that. And as I laid out in one of my videos, all you're doing is just providing me more wood to stoke the fire of videos that I will be releasing, of commentary. These people don't fucking listen. These people don't hear the nuances in my speech. They're too self-centered to even fucking care about what I'm saying. And to see the shit quality of this entire pre-alpha of a game. And going back to Krauser, how the fuck is this a proper reimagining of Krauser's boss fight? The developers had so much love and care put into Krauser's boss fight in the original version of Resident Evil 4. But instead, all you get is just this guy rambling on about being a cliched soldier, all about world domination, all about exceeding and evolving the human condition. All this kind of stuff that you've heard in millions of games out there, rather than being the stoic, focused individual that he was in the original version of Resident Evil 4. Who liked the idea of battle, who liked the art of war, who was praising Leon with the way he was dealing with them. And it was accompanied by good gameplay design, by clever designs with the knife, by good flinch animations, by challenging gameplay, by creative designs like shooting Krauser's grenades out of the air, by random locations of Krauser, because Krauser could be random with where he was in the map. He also could use a variety of weapons at his disposal, but here it's all so fucking scripted with what he does. And the knife has no utility here, aside from being used for parrying, and the parrying is so fucking useless against him, with its inconsistent timing and pitiful reward. He's just a stale boss that is so generic. A fucking rookie could have designed him. A fucking alien could have designed him. He's just meant to be treated like every other boss in this game, or every other boss in a game that is simply designed for existing and not to be something truly extraordinary. I'm just mindlessly shooting this guy. What awe-inspiring gameplay that Under the Mayo and Ballback Soup are praising as being a proper evolution to Resident Evil 4 and to the Resident Evil formula. This entire game series has been on a downward spiral ever since Resident Evil 2 Remake released. Resident Evil 2 Remake started that downward trend, and this is at the bottom of the list. This is into the depths of hell this pre-alpha of a game is. I cannot believe people like Under the Mayo are that fucking deluded. What fucking game were they playing? Or were they playing on the easier difficulties, and it somehow fit their criteria for being a good game? What a bunch of blowhards. What a bunch of sellouts. Compromising quality just to deliver views. I don't resort to that whatsoever. I never would resort to that. I would never compromise the quality of my content. I would never, ever hide the truth about a game just to get fucking views. I'd let my content stand out on its own. All they're doing is spreading lies. That is what Under the Mayo and Ballback Soup are saying in their videos. And so many of the toxic fans and idiotic fans are just following suit because if you play the part of the fool, then it's only the fools who will follow. And the Resident Evil community is just made up of so many fucking fools who don't understand what a game is, who just go to games and just move on to the next product. Not bothering to look into the game deeply, not bothering to get into the developer's mindset, not bothering to comprehend the core designs on a complex level. It's like they didn't even go to fucking college. Not that college has any relevance here, because you don't even have to go to college. And you can be an individual who understands the truth behind a fucking game if you actually put your mind to it. All these fucking people are so high, they would sell snow to Inuit people. That's how fucking high they are. with their praise towards this pre-alpha of a game, and with their comments when they're calling me the retard, the dumbass. Oh, it's a skill issue. Oh, you don't understand survival horror. Give me a fucking break. When you actually play the number of Resident Evil games that I've played, when you've actually taken the time to analyze games in depth, when you've actually taken the time to create as many walkthroughs as I have of games, to actually play them at a proper baseline, that showcases a properly functional experience, when you've actually taken the time to write reviews of Resident Evil games, like what I've already done with my 166-page review of Resident Evil Village, then we can actually have a proper discussion, guys. At least my subscribers are amazing for understanding that. And then you have all these other toxic people saying, oh, you hate Resident Evil 1 Remake, so automatically all your opinions, or supposed opinions, all your thoughts are just invalidated. Really? So hating Resident Evil 1 Remake automatically excuses all the poor designs involved with the balancing, the shitty hitboxes, the AI bugs, the complete disregard for the characters, the story, the ruining of bosses. All these other problems with the games. Me hating Resident Evil 1 Remake just invalidates all that. How fucking stupid do you have to be to draw up that kind of correlation? Yeah, that makes logical sense. Jesus Christ, did you go to school? Did you go to fucking school if you are saying those kind of retarded comments? I have subscribers who like Resident Evil 1 Remake and might not agree with me about me hating Resident Evil 1 Remake, but I stand by that because objectively that game is nothing more than a fucking running simulator, just running past a bunch of dumb enemies that feel like you're just jumping over hurdles in the Olympics in a slower-paced game that just invalidates so many fucking mechanics. And environmental designs and puzzle designs. I have subscribers that understand how I feel about Resident Evil 1 Remake, and they don't immediately excuse all the objective critiques I have towards this pre-alpha of a game, or with any other game for that matter, because they actually went to fucking school, and they're actually human. It's the equivalent to a fucking non sequitur, drawing an invalid conclusion that doesn't follow suit with the step process you've laid out to get to that conclusion. And sadly, those are the kind of people that developed this pre-alpha of a game, and they made this shitty fight, and every other aspect of this game is horrible. You should be ashamed of yourself if you think this game is a good game. It's not even a good game. It's not even a Resident Evil game. It's not even a bad game. It's not even a shit game. It's not even an incompetent game. This pre-alpha has redefined what it means to be incompetent. It has set a new trend in stupidity and incompetency so far below the baseline level of the current incompetency we've defined. That's the trend this remake has set. That's their way of matching the trends, the positive trends the original version of Resident Evil 4 set out to make. What a fucking insult. And what a fucking disgrace to Krauser, who was my favorite fight from the original version of Resident Evil 4. They have gone backwards. The scummy fuckers who designed this remake went backwards in thinking. As if they were from some other reality. For common sense and the laws of reality are completely different. And this is somehow serviceable in their eyes as being a good game. How the fuck can this game not have compromised development like Resident Evil Village did with the pandemic, and be of a worse state than any other game I have ever played? This is the worst Resident Evil game I have ever played. This is the worst remake of a game I have ever played. And this is the worst game I have ever played in my entire life as a gamer, with a score of 10 to the negative 50 out of 10. I have never done that with any game ever. Go fuck yourselves. Anyone who likes this shitty game. Worst game ever made. Saw that coming. And every time he does the slam, I can never get any shots in because he's too close to me. If this doesn't indicate to anyone that this game is a pre-alpha and it should never have been released, I don't know what does. Just want you to mindlessly slot into the merchant. Like it's a fucking microtransaction system. To deal with these damage spongy bosses that are not interesting. There's no challenge here, it's just a fucking waiting game. It's better to do this so that you don't deal with shit mechanics. You have to turn off your music, you have to turn off the voice volume to actually hear what he's doing. I turn off his voice volume anyway, because Krauser has done so poorly with his voice acting. The actor does not sound convincing as Krauser. And all he does is just ramble on because he's a fucking caricature. He feels like a caricature. A cliched veteran, spouting nonsense. How could they reduce Krauser to that?
Oh dear.
And then making him a mentor to Leon, like, what purpose does that serve? And that animation just takes you off the ladder for some reason. Not to mention it disorients you. If you're in a bad spot and the camera shifts, you don't know where you are. How can these developers have played the original Resident Evil 4 and settle on this as a boss fight for Krauser? And, oh my god. This is the most disgraceful reimagining of a boss I have ever seen. There's no characterization of him through the gameplay. He's the most standard generic boss ever. And they just want you to deal with him in the most mind-numbing, mundane way possible. Not respecting the special mechanics that play with him in the original version of Resident Evil 4. He doesn't fucking flinch in this remake for some bizarre reason. He has too much fucking life. And that time I didn't cancel out my lather for some reason. He has ambiguous detection on the perfect parry. His hitboxes are pretty bad. There's nothing unique here. The knife method against Krauser was not only an interesting gameplay mechanic that characterized him, it was also like a sense of honor. There was a sense of honor with using the knife to finish off Krauser. Not to mention it was the highest damaging tool and it stunned him consistently. That allowed you to pay respect to the boss in a way that was interesting. Not to mention make it a very memorable encounter and take advantage of skillful use of the knife, because people were probably not even using the knife much back when Resident Evil 4 released. But what I'm doing right now is literally the same thing I've been doing for every single boss on this game. Minus Pretorius Mendez. It feels like I'm back playing Resident Evil 1 Remake. It feels like I'm fighting Yawn again. Because I did the same thing fighting Yawn, just looping him in a circle, knifing his tail. That's not good gameplay. It's the most mundane, stale, repetitive piece of garbage you could ever put for a fight. And I finally finished him off! I'm not gonna waste time doing no damage against this fucking awful fight. I'm just making this the recording for the walkthrough I'm doing. I don't give a fuck about no damage. I'm not doing no damage against this piece of shit fight. He does not deserve it. This is the worst boss fight I have ever played in the entire Resident Evil series by far. This is the most disgraceful boss fight ever. How dare they reimagine Krauser into being a caricature of a cliched veteran just spouting nonsense about battles and about combat prowess. And then he's praising Leon, only it has nowhere near the same amount of weight as what it was like in Resident Evil 4 OG, when he was praising Leon for doing a great job at keeping up. And there's no payoff to Krauser being Leon's mentor. Why would they make him Leon's mentor rather than a close friend or something? Not a friend, but like a partner. That makes like a lot more sense, and you can understand the fight that you got. But this doesn't feel like a fight you'd be getting between student and master. Nothing like that. And Leon doesn't even say, you used to be a good guy. He just says, you were always an asshole, Krauser. So where's the emotional send-off right there? Where's the mystique? Where's the intrigue? When they're just designating him as an asshole? And unfortunately, that mentality bled into the gameplay, because this is the most pathetic fight I have ever seen for Krauser. The knife doesn't do anything. The parry is fucking useless, because not only is the perfect parry inconsistent in its detection, but the payoff isn't worth it. It does not reward skill very well, so you're having to resort to the ladders. You're having to just run around in a circle like a goddamn headless chicken, like you're playing Resident Evil 1 Remake, and just shoot Krauser when he jumps, because that's when his face is vulnerable. You also have your grenades as well, and I cannot believe Krauser can take 4 heavy grenades and 6 normal grenades and still be alive. Do they really want you to magnum dump him? Do they really want you to mindlessly upgrade at the merchant? And just lay into him with everything? Where's the sense of characterization there? Not to mention, where is the skill involved in that? Why the fuck are you encouraging amateurish play like that? Why are you turning him into the most generic, mundane, pathetic boss fight ever? This is not even a fight! This is a pre-alpha! I feel like I've just gone to a test build! It just feels like they hadn't finished adding new things to Krauser. And they made this the fight that you're getting in this remake! I'm at a loss of words. I am at a fucking loss of words. This boss fight is the representation of how bad this entire game is. This entire pre-alpha. This is why this game is a 10 to the negative 50 out of 10. And is exposing all the sellouts and all the fucking idiots that defend it. Under the mayo, Bowback Soup. All the numerous toxic fans. How the fuck can they look at this and say it's a better reimagining of Resident Evil 4, better than the original, Are you fucking kidding me? This broken pile of shit fight, so disgraceful to the original version of Resident Evil 4. This pre-alpha of a game. And you want to say it's better than the original version of Resident Evil 4? Balance-wise, survival horror-wise, gameplay-wise, story-wise, character-wise? All of those aspects I just listed. This game fails on a huge level. And if you seriously think this is acceptable, you are not fucking human. You're a fake Resident Evil player. You're not even a gamer. You're not even a fucking human. You're a fucking alien from another dimension. Where the rules of reality and logic don't work the same as here. Anpo-san, the director of Resident Evil 5, directed this game / pre-alpha. Kadoe-san directed this game, and he directed a shit game of Resident Evil 2 Remake. That game started the trend of bad Resident Evil games. And this is at the bottom of the list. This is down in the depths of hell. This entire pre-alpha of a fucking game. Disrespectful to the original version of Resident Evil 4. If Kadoe-san was the only one directing this game, then I can understand this game being awful. But fucking Ampo-san? Ampo-san was the director of Resident Evil 5, one of the greatest Resident Evil games ever. Gameplay-wise, character-wise, very interesting story, very interesting lore. It didn't have to favor any of these stupid designs to make a supposedly challenging experience. Resident Evil 5 is a more challenging game than this pile of garbage, for the right reasons. They didn't need to sacrifice flinch animations, they didn't need to sacrifice damage, they didn't need to sacrifice HP. Like, a good amount of HP. They didn't have to buff the enemies to an absurd degree. They didn't have to force the fucking store system on you to make a challenging game. They made a truly phenomenal game with the greatest co-op I have ever seen, the greatest mechanics ever from the original version of Resident Evil 4. So much creativity, so much imagination. And were there parts of Resident Evil 5 that were bad? Yes, but there were few. They had a significantly better vision with Resident Evil 5. But Ampo-san came here, and he thought this game was good? This pre-alpha? This pre-alpha that is lacking so much creativity, it just favors mindless gameplay. It's filled with so many broken designs, poor enemy placements, poor ammunition placements, ill-conceived boss fights, a terrible story that is somehow even worse than the original version of Resident Evil 4. That story was built over the span of 2 weeks, as Shinji Mikami said. But they had so much more time to devote to the story and the characters, and this is what we're fucking getting? We have the Plaga mutations being exaggerated to an extreme degree. We have the fucking Mega Mycete mutations somehow bleeding into the Las Plagas mutations, with the Black Liquid, and then Salazar's mutation. We have the Crimson Flames and Blue Flames, that are only there for a moment, and then we never see them again. We have ruined characters, like Ada, Luis, and Krauser. Leon is also equally as incompetent. And so is Ashley. Every single character on this game is bad. In their voice acting, in their portrayals, in the way they react to certain situations. This is absolutely appalling. How the fuck can you say it is me that is the problem and not this pre-alpha? How can you say it's anything to do with a skill issue? How can you say it's anything to do with me being weird? How can you say it's because, oh, I have a particular preference? I'm just a normal guy, folks. A normal guy who at least has a better understanding of common sense. And when that product is actually good or not. This pre-alpha is filled with so many objective flaws, and Krauser only adds more to the objective flaws of this pre-alpha of a game. Just the sheer stupidity of the toxic fans that defend this god-awful pre-alpha. I need to stop right there before I blow even more of a fucking gasket. I need to save it for the rest of this worse through.